Welcome back to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. This is episode 54. Today is July 31st, 2020, and we're going to look at Robyn Hood Justice, the number one of the latest arc, written by Chuck Dixon. But before that, just really quick, just want to say, coming up later, probably this weekend, I'll put this one out. It's Witchblade. It's a 25th anniversary edition. It's actually a remastered reprint. And Michael Turner's doing the art on this. It should be a pretty interesting read. I kind of looked through it a little bit, and the artwork is nothing like what we're seeing these days. So they don't draw them like this anymore, to paraphrase the great Kin Band song. Okay, so we'll have that coming up, and this was a number one. I believe it was the initial Witchblade comic. So taking a look at this one, like I said, it was written by Chuck Dixon. He also has written for Robyn Hood, Nightwing, Batman, Detective Comics, and something called Airboy, which I'm not that familiar with, but seems to be fairly popular. The artist is Babutsu Quartz, and I couldn't find any record of anything besides him being an artist. So I'm sure he's done stuff. It just didn't show up in anything I was looking at. This is like the sixth arc or seventh arc of Robyn Hood, I believe. There's the previous six are out on trades if you can find them. I have read the very first one, her origin story, and it was kind of a brutal story. She starts out, she's just a normal person basically, and some guy starts manhandling her. I think she's like a high schooler or a college student. I can't remember. So she ends up fighting back, wounding him. He gets very angry, beats her up, rapes her, and kills her. And she comes back somehow in this form. I can't remember exactly, but then she exacts revenge, and she becomes a vigilante because the guy that killed her apparently was very rich and everything. So the last arc took place in New York City, and this is continuing on that theme. She's in New York City again. It probably would help if you did read the arc before this, because they seem to just take for granted that you know a lot about the story before they even get into it. Now, let's talk a little about the cover. Overall, it's okay. I think it does a pretty good job. I would like to see her pop more on this. She's kind of blends in with the background to me. It seems like this glass has a little bit more highlight than she does. That seems what really draws my eye when I look at it. Also, I want to mention that this one leg here looks a little out of proportion. Like it looks bigger than this one, even though this one is closer. Now I understand that, you've got your foreshortening going on and whatnot, but it just looks odd to me. I mean, that foot is pretty much same size calf, same size as this calf, and it's supposed to be further back. So I do, and this one is kind of compressed, so it should even be bigger in my eyes. So I do have a little. That just kind of bugged me. It could be totally correct anatomically. I don't know. It just looks a little funny to me. So I thought I'd point that out. Going into the issue, there is a short blurb that's supposed to get you up to date, but it's very generic. It doesn't go into a lot of detail, unfortunately. So I would have liked to seen a little bit more detail of how they're ending up or starting where the other one kind of ended and this starts, because it just kind of throws you in here, and I think you're supposed to know who these characters are, and I do not. So bear with me as we go through here. First three pages are in this motel room, where they've been hung out for in about a month. This is Emmett. I don't know his backstory at all. I believe he has multiple personalities, and we'll go into that. And they've just been hiding out from the law, waiting for things to cool down. Maybe they're waiting for someone to show up. I'm not sure exactly what the deal is, but they're hanging out here. And she's jonesing, Robyn Hood's jonesing for some good pizza, so she'll be going out for pizza shortly. They see this news program about the mayor, Mayor Nugent, who is introducing new robot police force. It's an upgrade from the previous ones that were in the last arc, that I guess they fought the Underground, and I'm not sure what the Underground was. I don't know if Robyn Hood fought against the Underground or was part of it, but it would help if I had read the last arc, which I did not. Now, the upgrades they gave to this is they can fly, they have facial recognition, but they're also super, super aggressive. And that becomes an issue quite early. Okay, so it turns out this mayor is a little bit evil. In fact, I believe she's some kind of sorceress as well, but I'm not 100% sure of her because I didn't read that last arc. So they go ahead and do a demo with the robot. And this story is actually pretty good. I wish, like I said, I wish they would condense those first 3 pages though, because it's just in that apartment or that room, and there wasn't any real information given that they couldn't just put in 1 page. So, and then they could have had the splash the next page. It would have worked out fine. But so they're demoing this robot. The robot sees a perp who's not doing anything wrong. The robot destroys a car and then goes after the perp. The perp pulls a gun, starts shooting at it, and it reads its rights, but then it's blowing them away at the same time it's reading its rights. And I guess it's pretty much bulletproof. So the guy's dead, and it continues to read the rights. So it's obviously a malfunction on the robot's part. And the 2 police chiefs go to talk to the mayor about it and saying, hey, this is moving too fast with this. So this isn't right. The feds aren't going to be happy about it. And mostly one of them saying that. So she snaps her fingers, and he suddenly is getting choked to death, and his face is contorted and looks pretty bad, and he dies, I guess, on the spot. So the other police chief's going, well, I'm in with her. And then this woman called the seamstress just shows up. And the art on this is a little funky because, I don't know, the way this shoulder looks, it looks like it's kind of coming out of the front of her. It looked weird to me. Anyway, thought I'd point that out. Okay, so then Robyn Hood's going out to get her pizza because she wants to get good pizza. And she comes across a crime scene. Of course, she has to step in to help because she is a vigilante. And one of the robots show up after she has got everybody kind of stopped fighting. And the perps are identified, and she's one of them. And I guess because she's in red, she's highlighted. These also have all rap sheets, which is a really cool idea. I'm actually using something similar to that in a comic book that I'm writing currently. So it's kind of neat that Chuck Dixon's using the same kind of idea. I'm kind of, whoa, that's kind of cool. So she gets in the gun battle. Another car gets blasted here. And then another car gets flame thrown. I don't think it's the same one. This one's green, this one's red. So Robyn Hood's using all kinds of different arrows to try to subdue this robot, and she's able to get a special type of explosive in the brain CPU area that makes it go a little bit haywire, and she's riding it, and they crash into a bus, another vehicle destroyed. So a lot of collateral damage here. And she's finally able to get off the robot. It's a pretty good story. I mean, I'm kind of hooked because she's fighting the robots. She's fighting the police department. She's fighting the mayor, who seems to have something very sinister going on. She returns to the apartment only to find her Emmett has, I guess, reached out or to one of his other personalities, and he thinks it's Tatter, but it turns out to be something called Synapse. And Synapse looks to be a little bit psychotic, and that's kind of where the story ends. So Robyn Hood's coming back, and Synapse is there, taking over Emmett's personality for the time being. So I'm going to check in next time on this one to see how it happens, because I am intrigued. There seems to be at least 3 counterpoints for Robyn Hood to tackle. So it looks like a good story, and Chuck Dixon's supposed to be a very good writer. This is the first thing I've ever read by him, so I'm excited to try this out. Let's see a little coming attractions. This is the next one. I don't know if that's Synapse or it's something else, but Robyn Hood's back, issue 2 of 6. It is a 6-issue arc. Also Grimm's Fairy Tales, the Dark Book. Now I remember the Zenescope in the past. They were very busty depictions all the time, but they seem like they've toned it down quite a bit. So I don't know if there's been some pressure on them to do so. Belle versus the Black Knight. Again, Belle looks a little less busty. Van Helsing versus the League of Monsters. I mean, you really go back and you look at those old issues from 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, and they're really just busting out all over. Shang, this looks pretty good. I love the detail in this dragon. Now, I don't know if it's just the cover art or if the interiors are going to look like this as well. That'd be pretty exciting if it did. A Red Agent, I don't know anything about. It's a tie-in with the Island of Dr. Moreau. And Conspiracy, I believe this has been an ongoing series. It looks like it has something to do with aliens. Monster Planet. This is where the nightmares, the monsters of your nightmares are actually come to save humanity. So that could be an interesting little twist. I have to take a look at that one when it comes in the store. Mystere, kind of the Day of the Dead type look. Unbound, another issue. I have no idea what this is about, but it looks pretty creepy there. And I don't know if there's anything else. I think it just goes into a list of the trades, and an ad for CGC, and kind of a ad for Zenescope, their club, VIP club. So, and we get one last look at Robyn Hood done up pretty nicely, and she looks pretty good there. Reminds me of my wife. They're both women. Anyway, that's what we got for today. Thank you for stopping by, checking out Robyn Hood Justice with me. Please subscribe, please like, please leave comments. Love to hear from you. I'll be back with Witchblade, and also we'll be doing previews of all the indie comics that'll be coming out, shipping in October, coming up as well. So please check back. There's always new stuff coming out. And that's what we got. So take care of yourselves. And this is Indie Comics Jones from the Temple of Tomes. Take care.